Didn't you know that you were loved? Didn't you know that you were chosen? Didn't you know you were beautiful? And didn't you know that you were enough? Welcome to Real Talk today. Thank you for joining me for another moment in the meantime. Hey, it is your girl Be Real, and I hope that your day has gotten off to an amazing start. If it hasn't, then it's all right, because you still got some time left in the day for everything to be exactly what you're hoping that it's gonna be. I want to just go ahead today and because I got kind of like a few different things I kind of want to just kind of do today for our episode this week, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on the lesson for the week, because I sent out a text message to everyone on the text list, and I wanted to know, like, if you had any questions for me so I can answer those. I feel this press, I feel this pull to really make sure I'm connected with those of you who listen. It's just been lately. I want Real Talk today to be just like this very pure place for us to go when we're in the meantime, and as I stated last week, of course, in the meantime, it is, whether you're waiting in singleness for marriage, or from being an employee to an employer, just like from the bottom to the top, like just that in the meantime, that waiting period from here to there, you know what I'm saying? And so my heart is to make sure that in the meantime is a healthy place. It is a safe place, and all that good stuff. So we want a lot of God, we want wisdom from him. We want laughs, because it doesn't have to be a depressing place. It can be very enjoyable, because it is a place where we're growing and we're learning and we're actually becoming. So in just thinking about what I desire for Real Talk today, and what I desire for all things in the meantime, I was just thinking, like, I don't want it to just be something where I'm every week trying to increase my numbers, increase my followers and the audience. And while that is important and it does have its place, I want to make sure I'm maximizing on what God has already given to me. And right now, that's y'all who already have committed to listening to the podcast. You have committed to, just hearing what God has to say through me. And I appreciate that. And I don't want to ever just like take it lightly that y'all listen or anything like that. So I was just thinking about that, and God just placed on my heart, like, just see if they got questions for you and see how you can answer those questions and this and that. So we're going to take some time today on the podcast and do that. We'll do it a little later in just a few minutes. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and share something that has been on my heart. We talked for the past few weeks about, the Israelites getting away from the Egyptians and, finding their way to freedom. And that story can honestly go on forever and ever and ever. So I'm sure that soon we'll revisit the Israelites and, their story and Moses and all of that. And especially, I know we'll get into when Joshua takes over, because that's literally like one of my favorite things to reference in the Bible. So I know that we're going to get back there soon, but we're going to take a bit of a turn. And I think for the next couple of weeks, we're going to go over this one story in particular. And like I said, today we won't stay there long. I'm just going to read the verses and give an overview over or on the storyline or whatever. And I'm just going to pull out a brief point, something that I think we all should think about consciously. And so that story comes from Luke 5, and I'm going to do like verses 1 through 11. Yeah, 5, 1 through 11. I'm in another version today. It's ERV. I don't know what the E or the R stand for. The V is for version. Anyway, okay, sorry. But I'm going to go ahead and just read that and just go ahead and pull out what I believe God is saying to me and to us about this. And so it just says, as Jesus stood beside Lake Galilee, a crowd of people pushed to get closer to him and to hear the teachings of God. Jesus saw two boats at the shore of the lake. The fishermen were washing their nets. Jesus got into the boat that belonged to Simon. He asked Simon to push off a little from the shore. Then he sat down in the boat and taught the people on the shore. When Jesus finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Take the boat into the deep water. If all of you will put your nets into the water, you will catch some fish." Simon answered, "Master, we worked hard all night trying to catch fish and caught nothing. But you say I should put the nets into the water, so I will." The fishermen put the nets into the water. Their nets were filled with so many fish that they began to break. They called to their friends in the other boat to come and help them. The friends came, and both boats were filled so full of fish that they were almost sinking. The fishermen were all amazed at the many fish they caught. When Simon Peter saw this, he bowed down before Jesus and said, "Go away from me, Lord. I am a sinful man." James and John, the sons of Zebedee, that is an amazing name, were amazed too. James and John worked together with Simon. Jesus said to Simon, "Don't be afraid. From now on, your work will be to bring in people, not fish." The men brought their boats to the shore. They left everything and followed Jesus. So for the next few weeks, few weeks, we'll decide that later, we will just kind of dive into this story and really just like see what that means for us in the meantime. See how that, just translates to our day-to-day lives while we're living in the meantime, getting from here to there, from the bottom to the top. You know what I'm saying? So we're definitely going to dive into that and just kind of see what's going on with that. First thing, that I want to just say, or the overall thing that I want to say today, it comes from verse, and I am currently searching for that verse. Let's see, and it's when they quit. Jesus got the bunch. Hold on, I'm actually looking. Jesus got to the boat. He asked Simon to push off a little from the shore. Then he sat down, taught the people on the shore. Hang on, guys. Let's see. Okay. I think I'm thinking about another version. That's what's happening. But anyway, what happens, they're already fishing and, they've been working hard all night long and they ain't caught nothing. And so, yeah, this is verse 5. See, the devil really, he tried it just now because I couldn't find my verse, right? And I was about to stop the recording, like, you know what? Forget this. But anyway, God is good and he is faithful. Verse 5, here we go. Simon answered. This was after Jesus had said, like, take the boat into the deep water, and you'll catch some fish. And Simon said, "Master, we worked hard all night to catch fish, but we caught nothing." And so what's going on here? Simon and them, they had decided, like, all right, we quit. Like, they were washing their nets already. When Jesus saw them, they had washed, they were washing their nets. Washing their nets basically mean we shutting down shop for today. We done working. And so once they, they quit, they were done working or whatever. And that's when Jesus was like, "Hey, take your boat into the deep water." And so there's a lot to say about this story. But the first thing I just want to say is don't quit too soon. Yeah, that's the thought for today. Let's not quit too soon. I think that a lot of times we can get very discouraged with the results that we're getting or the lack thereof. And so when we have not produced what we're looking to produce in a timely enough fashion, that time frame is typically based upon what we have said, not necessarily what God has said. When we don't see the necessary results or the results that we're looking for, in a certain time frame, then we decide to wash our nets. And so my question to you is, when's the last time you decided prematurely to wash your nets? That can be in a relationship. Who told you to wash your nets? It might not be time for you to get out of there on that situation yet, because you may be neglecting an opportunity to see God work through the heart of someone. And if you wash your net and you give up on a situation too soon, then you may miss the miracle of God. Like you may miss the miracle of seeing someone change radically and become everything that God already told you that they would be. You know what I'm saying? You may give up and watch the nets too soon where it even comes to yourself. And if you do that, you give up on yourself, then you may miss the miracle of seeing all that God has placed inside of you. A lot of times, like, even with my podcast, so many times, y'all, I have like been knee deep in recording episodes only to realize that it ain't recording. And I will literally be like, you know what? What's the point? Like, you know how many what's the point moments I have had, just feeling like I've been working hard on this whole time and nothing is happening. Or I can even say, even more than that, I published my first book in 2013. And I remember when I published that book, it was called Bridget's Redemption. And it's a really good book. It's so good. It's fictional. And I love doing fiction. I haven't been able to do fiction for a few years, but I do feel like I can get back to that here soon. That's a whole nother situation. But when I did that book, like, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have nobody coaching me through it. I didn't know anything about a marketing strategy. I didn't know anything about shipping it out. Like, when you publish a book, this is just a sidebar, but when you publish a book, when you say, hey, I want to be an author, hey, I want to write books and this and that, like, it's not just, oh, I'm going to write a book. That's what it seemed like. But really, I think that the moment you feel like God is pushing you to write a book or something like that, it's such a setup, because what you end up doing, like, you write the book. Okay. Yeah. Like, cool. Okay. You write the book, but then you got to publish the book. And so that's a whole nother level of other stuff that you don't know nothing about. And then you got to market the book. That's a whole nother other level of stuff you don't know nothing about. Then you have to, check the orders and ship stuff out. And then if it gets to a point where you're doing speaking engagements and this, and like, it just turns into a whole thing. You know what I'm saying? And I remember just kind of, when when I got through writing Bridget's Redemption, I didn't know what to do with it next. I had a whole publishing company. It was just, I feel like it was kind of janky though, but it was like once I was knee deep in there, had and signed contracts and stuff, that I realized this was janky. And you know, once I realized that, and then miraculously I was able to get out of the contract, you know, I remember just being like, oh, forget this. Ain't doing, nah, oh no. And, you know, that was me washing my net. I was washing my net way too soon. Like, I was like, oh, this was my first, I was 24, 25. I'm 31 now. And so it's just like, that was like, I was washing my nets then, saying like, oh, nah, this writing thing, nah, this author, forget that. I'll write in my journal. You know what I'm saying? But now, 9 books later, I'm still like I was actually going to say I'm not a best-selling author, but I did make the Amazon best-selling list in the meantime. So I'm just not going to dumb myself down in this moment. Rah. But just like legit, like, I'm not all the way where I think I'm supposed to be, or where I will be in the future. But like, just think about or consider, like, if I had to wash my nets back then because of that janky contract I was under, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we can definitely just wash our nets too soon. So it can be relationally, it can be professionally, but today, I just really want to encourage you not to wash your net too soon. Like, these guys, they had and worked hard all night, and just in getting tired is okay. Like, getting tired is a real thing, but just know that, you know, if you give up too soon, you may be giving up on a whole lot. Yeah, and it's just not always time to quit. Even if you're tired, I believe that, or I'm praying that God will give you another wind to just go a little further so you don't miss the miracle. If they have left, you know, after they washed their net, Jesus said, hey, come back, let's go. Like, if they hadn't listened to Jesus, then they would have missed out on getting all this fish. And like being a fisherman, it's a business, you know what I'm saying? So their business literally went from nothing to everything in a moment. It went from nothing to everything with just obeying one word from the Father. So just be open to hearing God. If he tell you, hey, you're not done right here yet. Quitting is so easy. It is so easy. It is so easy. And it is so easy. And y'all don't even, like, literally just in the past week, I wanted to quit so bad on something God knows I can't quit on. And I talked to one of my mentors, and she was like, okay, like, you have a point, Brittany, but is quitting the best thing to do? And I was mad, but I was like, I guess not. So, like, it's something that we all deal with, but just understand that, like, washing your nets too soon will have you missing out on the very thing you've been praying for. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just praying today that you all will have just a little more patience, and that God will just strengthen you, because we work hard. And so it's frustrating when you don't get the desired results in the desired timing. But I believe that if we can hold on just a little while longer, we'll get that very thing that we know God is capable of doing in our lives. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's that. That's the lesson for today. So I'm going to go ahead with this too, because I just want to let y'all know that as I kind of revamp the podcast and really try to make it very Brittany-like and be the most myself as possible, I just have to let y'all know that, like, you know, I want y'all to, I don't know. I don't know, but here's the deal. I get like people say stuff about me, not in a bad way. I mean, sometimes in a bad way, but I don't really know about that. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that a lot of times people be like, oh, you're so confident. Oh, you just do this. Oh, you just try this. Oh, you just blah, blah, blah. And I want y'all to especially know that it's not because I just have this astronomical level of courage, or, I mean, I do, but I want y'all to understand how I get nervous every time I hit record for the podcast. Cause it makes me nervous, because I don't want to say nothing that'll mislead anybody. I don't want to say anything that'll send somebody straight to hell. You know what I'm saying? Cause it's a thing when you talking about God, like, yeah, I can just get on here and just talk, but because God challenges me to say things, that he has revealed to me, like, I get nervous. I'm like, Lord, I ain't trying to send nobody to hell. Lord, you know, it's kind of like, I don't want nobody to be out here thinking I'm like perfect, and I don't, you know, that I just, you know, walk the straight and narrow, and I don't err in judgment or anything like that. So it's nerve-wracking, you know, but something that gives me confidence, even when I walk in a room, I try to walk in with confidence. I'm super awkward, for the most part, but a lot of times I can kind of not be awkward. Anyway, the thing is, here's the secret, and I'm just gonna tell y'all straight up, this is the secret, but y'all can't judge me on my secret, because I'm gonna let y'all in. When I say I'm about to let y'all in on my secret, I'm about to let y'all in on my secret. I believe that everyone should have a soundtrack playing in their head at all times. Okay, at all times there should be a song playing in your head. And I'm not being super deep, I ain't being super spiritual, saying that you should be walking around singing near my God to thee. Is that the verse? Okay, was that the song? Okay, yeah, like, it don't have to be like, you know, what a friend we have in Jesus all the time. Like, yeah, it's the Lord will place a song on your heart, but when it comes down to like this confidence I be needing and all this stuff, like, there is always a song playing in my head. Okay, and I don't know if y'all have watched Grey's Anatomy, but I binged it from August until I think we finished it in like December, maybe January. Binged all the seasons of Grey's Anatomy, and what I noticed is that Meredith and Christina would have a dance party. And I just started to, I was like, dance parties are necessary. Like, no, we need a dance party. And so I was just thinking about like how they had their dance parties and how there's always a song in my head that's playing. And I was like, yeah, man, like people need to know this. Like, it's okay, like, to stop what you're doing and have a whole dance party. And so when I just decided, because on Real Talk today, we're going to be real because that's who I am. And we're going to have a dance party like now. But look, if you feel like you're going to be all judgy and all extra oversaved, then just go ahead. You can hit pause. You can end the podcast episode right fat now, because what we had to do is have a dance party. And I want you to give this dance party your everything. If you're not driving, I want you to get up and give this dance party all that you got, because it's gonna make you feel better. I'm telling you, it's gonna. Brittany, how you be doing all this stuff and just like, I know you be like, you scared, but you still did it, and that's dope. How you do? First of all, God is good all the time. All the time, God's good. Yes, He is. When I get through acknowledging the Father, Brittany gonna have a dance party slam in her head. I can be looking at you having a full-on conversation, but in my head there's a song that is playing that is giving me all my life. And so I just think we should go ahead and listen to it like right now. And I really want you to like get into this dance party, because dance party ain't going nowhere. It is a part of Real Talk today from this moment on. And that dance party is about to go down in like the next 3, 2, 1.
I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy. I've got the look that drives you go wild. I've got the moves that really move 'em. I said chill, up and down their spine. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I make them hot. I make them shiver.
Now, if you know me, you know I love me some Shawn Michaels, okay? Let me tell y'all something. Like, as a child, I would be like, Shawn Michaels, why he this dope? Yes, now, for those of you who don't know, Shawn Michaels is WWF superstar. And they call it WWE now, He still come by. He old now. He come by during WrestleMania season and whatnot. But let me tell you something. Shawn had the confidence, man. Like, I used to just look at him like, geez, how does he get like that? And that song just always been in my doggone head. Like, I'm talking anytime something big about to go down in my life, I am walking around like, sexy boy. Like, it's a thing for me. And I just let y'all in on my secret, so I really don't need y'all to judge me. I just need y'all to embrace it and let that bless you, okay? All right, so now that is over, praise God. I really hope that blessed y'all, because it does everything for me. So like I said earlier in the episode, I wanted to take some questions. So I sent out a text message to those people subscribed to my text message list. And if that's not you, hey, what's up? Yeah, all you gotta do is type ITMT and text it to the number 31996, and then you too will catch my text messages. But I sent out a text just wanting to, just kind of connect and see, like, do y'all have any questions, like, for me? Anything, biblically that maybe I can take a look at, because I don't profess to be, the strongest Bible scholar. I try to read, I try to study what I can and let God reveal to me what He needs to reveal. So I'm getting more consistent in my studying. So that when people ask me something, I can have an answer for them, because that's the last thing I want, is to just be like, I don't know. But I am humble enough to know when I don't know the answer to something. So anyway, I don't know why I went there, but I just wanted questions. Like, if you have any questions for me, it could be biblically, relationally, and y'all, if you've been following me for half of a day, you already know that I definitely don't consider myself a relationship guru. I learn from my mistakes, and I hear the Father about what He's telling me presently. That's about it. But I mean, that has allowed me to write a few books, but it's all about me just looking at what I have been through personally and going from there. Yeah, so if you had any questions, and we did have some, I wanted to take time to answer those questions on today. And so I got a few, and so I just want to go ahead and just jump in and answer those, okay? And if you have any questions for me after listening to this episode, you too can email those questions to itmt@brittanyreal.com, okay? That email address is on my Instagram page, so you can just go to my Instagram page and hit send email. So cool. First question. I don't know. I didn't really say that the people will be anonymous, but I think I just, y'all might not want y'all might not want. Okay. So we're not going to say any names. Okay. I had my first question came, I was going to say the name again. All right. Stop it. First question is, what do you do when you hit a writer's block? How do you find inspiration again? I don't believe in writer's block. I don't think that exists. I believe that we try to force things that are not there. I believe that we can try to force an initiative. We can try to force a storyline. We can try to force a word from God. And so, when we do that, then we see that there's nothing being produced because there's nothing to produce. You know what I'm saying? I believe that when you should be writing, you will write. Yeah, that's pretty much the way I look at it. I had this one spell where I wanted to say I had writer's block, but it was just like, no, you're just not supposed to be writing about that. Like, this ain't time for you to be writing. This is time for you to be listening. This is time for you to be studying. This is time for you to be learning. This is a time for you to be gleaning. It's not your time to write. So I don't believe that writer's block really exists. And even, if it's just a thing of writing, because some people don't write to publish, but they just want to write, period. Write about the writer's block. How's the writer's block making you feel? Do you feel defeated by the writer's block? If so, write about that thing. I don't believe in writer's block. I'm a writer. And so I don't believe that I have the time to come up with an excuse so strong that would keep me from doing the thing that I know I should be doing. Like I said, the only things that will stop that is me being in a season where I should be listening, studying, learning, gleaning, not writing. So that's that. How do you balance not being obsessed over your promise, striving to make it happen on your own, and to just being patient? Patience is something that has been like my battle since I could probably remember and put like a name to what I struggle with. It's been patience. I think that I believe that I'm much better now with patience. How do you balance not being obsessed over your promise? You just gotta know, like, if it's a promise, then who did the promise come from? Did the promise come from like a human, or did it come from God? If the promise comes from God, there's no need to be obsessed over it because He doesn't lie. He can't lie. So it's just gonna happen when it happens. So like, that is just in knowing what God has said for my life and knowing the promises that He has for me, that has been a thing to teach me patience, because I've learned to put my faith, my confidence, and my trust in Him versus the promise, versus the person, versus the business, versus the desired outcome. Like, if you're talking about a man in particular, like if you think that God has promised you like this certain relationship or something like that, then you don't put your hope and all of your faith into the person that you believe is for you. You put your faith into God, because God is going to deliver that thing when the time is right. And so the thing about the patience and the timing is that ain't nothing you can do that's gonna change the timing. God has already set it in stone. He wrote it down before you even born. So that's what I just learned, to just like, all right, maybe you should chill out a little bit. And it's not to say that I don't get anxious sometimes when it comes to like certain promises God has made me, but I just have to always remember in those anxious moments that like, this promise is not about me. It's not about whatever I'm waiting to happen. It's about God getting his glory, and when he ready to get his glory, he gonna get it, period. Next question: how do you communicate properly how you feel without others getting offended? I don't care if others get offended with my truth. Yeah, that's pretty much so my truth is my truth. You know, how I feel as a result of how you have treated me, you know, that's mine to feel. If you didn't want me to tell you my truth or tell others my truth, then you should have. If you didn't want, because that, I feel like I said that very harshly, and that's something I'm currently working on. If you feel that my truth towards you is worthy of you being offended, then you should have behaved differently so that wouldn't be my truth. As far as me communicating properly how I feel, without others getting, like, you can't stop other people from getting offended, because you don't know what triggers them to getting offended. Like, you can't stop them. So the only thing I can say is just watch your tone, watch how you say what you say, and let the rest be the rest. Like, because if you speak harshly, then of course it's gonna, be offensive. But if you gather yourself and speak calmly, then it may bring about a better outcome. If it don't bring about a better outcome, like if you speak calmly and they're still offended, then they were going to be offended anyway. So the only thing you can do is check your tone, make sure it's something you should be addressing right now. You do that by talking to the Father, and then beyond that, you just got to let it be what it's going to be. Next question says, I've heard the phrase "just be" numerous times. How does that look? What does that look like when you're a perfectionist, or when you're so used to doing? I have never been a perfectionist. So that's like, perfectionism is not a thing that I have ever, when I say I have never struggled with it at all. Like, I'm the girl where I have to tell myself, Brittany, do more, Brittany, do more. So I'm not a perfectionist. But just be, that is something that I've really learned. It's just be. How does that look? It means getting into yourself. It's not an invitation for selfishness, but it's to look like, just be. Look at your situation. Look at the reality of it. Look at the truth of it, and sit in it. Like, and I don't even know if I know how to explain that fully, but to just be, I believe that just being, to just like be, I believe that it's a rest that only God can give. It's a peace that only he gives. There is a scripture that I reference often, and y'all can Google it for the exact location. But Jesus, this is after the resurrection. He told them, I think it was before he ascended back to heaven. See, that's the stuff I be talking right there, and I don't want to be telling y'all wrong. But he said, my peace I leave with you, and I believe that peace is a gift. And I believe that anything that's a gift, you have to be willing to receive that gift. Like, I can buy you a gift and I can wrap it up nice and pretty and set it at your doorstep. But if you don't open up the door, open the gift and take it and use it, then the gift is pointless. You know what I'm saying? And so when Jesus says, hey, I'm leaving you peace, it's up to us to pick up the peace and take it and have it and hold it and put it in our hearts, And so I believe it's as simple as saying, like, just be. I believe it's just about having peace about your situation, having peace about where you are in life, having peace about what has happened in your life and what hasn't happened in your life, and just be, and just like, you can't perform your way this, because you got like, it's like several aspects to this doggone question. But just be, I believe, is to take the peace that Jesus has given us. How does that look? Whatever you look like, I believe, like, just be that looks different on other people. Yeah, that's just you getting in touch with yourself and knowing who you are and what stuff look like on you. For me, just be that looks like doing this podcast. It looks like me writing my books. It looks like, but that, I know your question suggests, like, without striving or without, actually doing things. So sometimes I don't want what my just be looking like. My just be is doing stuff a lot of times, because I'm just doing the stuff that leads back to who I am. You know what I'm saying? But it could look completely different on you. And I don't know if I answered that question. So if somebody else got a way to answer that, then by all means, email me so that I can get that question answered differently. I just know what it looked like on me, but that may not be how it looks on you. But I think it does take assessing your situation and deciding to have peace about everything, if that makes sense. I got one more question, and it says, all right, hey, my question to you would be, how do you stay focused? That's funny. Being that you have so many tasks, I'm sure you have steady time and alone time with God, your personal life, family, and friends. How do you stay focused and still be able to be productive? What is your strategy? I have a lot of more questions, but we can start here. First of all, looks are deceiving. I'm not that focused. I want to be like super focused, like, but I'm not. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm really not that focused. Yeah, I'm just not that focused. I'm focused on what I'm focused on for how long I'm focused on it. Okay. So I guess for me, it's just about knowing how long I can focus on one thing at a time. Like, I'm the type of girl, I get very bored with routine. I get very annoyed with schedules and calendars, and so, like, I get very annoyed with it. So like, pretty much, whereas like I need to work on something, like, because of course I have a job, but then of course Real Talk Today, and in the meantime, takes up a big portion of my heart and my mind and all of that. And so what I do, honestly, I do the stuff I need to do first, and it's work, because, we gotta pay bills or whatever. But because Real Talk Today and in the meantime is very important to me, then I try to look at it as though it is my main source of income as well. So I just have to prioritize, like, what's more important today. And a lot of times I may not do anything with Real Talk Today. I may not do anything with In the Meantime. And even like on my off days from my job, it doesn't mean that becomes a day for me to do everything else. Like, I literally just prioritize and say, hey, what needs to get done? And I just do it. Now, like I said, I am horrible. I hate calendars and all this stuff like that. But I also realize what I need. And that is a planner. That is a calendar. And I just bought a new one this weekend. And so even though I get annoyed with routine and stuff like that, I do still allow myself to be guided with the planner. So at the beginning of the week, at the beginning of the day, I take a look at what needs to happen, what don't need to happen. I write it down. I just try to stick to the plan, and I feel like even if I would at least make a plan, then I can get very close to sticking to that plan. But if I don't make a plan at all, I will be completely idle. So yeah, I'm as far as, let's see, I'm sure you have study time and a long time with God. Now, as far as that concerned, because that is a complete non-negotiable, just because if I don't stay in there with God, I become like, I'm very reckless. Okay, so I cannot compromise that time that I have with the Father. And so what I have done, and some of y'all can try it, every time I bring it up to people, they be like, girl, if you don't get yo. But what I do, I actually wake up at 3 a.m. and I have time with God, then ain't nothing gonna interrupt me at 3 a.m. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, waking up is the hardest part, but once I'm up, it's such a sweet time with God. I can hear him clearly. My emails ain't no email going off at 3 a.m. Like, even the businesses automated systems is shut down at 3 a.m. Like, think about it, most businesses, they are like, websites and stuff be down for maintenance at that time. So you ain't getting no pointless emails coming through. You ain't getting no text messages at 3 a.m. If you are, I got some questions, but but like 3 a.m. is just like a really, really, really great time. And it started off with just like this sacrifice that a friend and I wanted to do, just to kind of fast, but it turned into like, no, this is actually a sweet place with me and God, where I know I'm going to hear him without any distractions. So that's something I do. Just set a time, and 3 a.m. may not work for you, but just set a time and stick to that time, and let it be a time where you're not going to have other distractions going on. So I hope that answered your question. How do you say, what is your strategy? Yeah. So yeah, whatever other questions you got beyond that, then you can definitely go ahead and email those to me as well. I hope I made sense with these questions. This is the longest episode we have ever had at Real Talk today, but that's the way I wanted to do things today. So I pray that something touched your heart. I pray that I pray that Dansburg was good to you too. Like, it was good to me. Anyway, y'all got more questions, please send them to me and we can address them on next week. I love you guys, and I'm so grateful that y'all listen. I don't know. I love y'all. But yeah, that's kind of what it is today. And yeah, if you have not followed me on Instagram, just go ahead and do that at B.REEL. Y'all already know, if you put REAL, you're not gonna find me there. So follow the right page at B.REEL. Once you get there, you'll see my email. You'll see the In the Meantime Instagram handle. So just go ahead and follow me at B.REEL, and then you'll kind of see the directives on everything else. But that's what it is today, y'all, and I pray that y'all have a blessed and amazing rest of y'all week, and I'll see y'all next week. All right, bye. In the meantime, remember that you are loved, you are chosen, you are beautiful, you are enough, and I think you're kind of dope too. All right, I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.